Hi everyone, welcome to Ponderings of the Priest. I'd like to begin today with a quote from someone named Tilly Olson, and she says, "It is a long baptism into the seas of humankind, my daughter, better immersion than to live untouched." It is a long baptism into the seas of humankind, better immersion than to live untouched. It's so beautiful, and it's so courageous, and it's so trusting of God. Isolation is one of our greatest maladies these days, where everyone just wants to be alone. Just leave me alone. We want to remain untouched because somehow we're afraid. Somehow if we interact or we remain untouched, we can delude ourselves that we are managing everything around us, and we don't connect. We don't connect. And that baptism into the seas of humanity, into what it means to love, what it means to live, what it means to share the sandbox with other human beings, is a learning of a lifetime. And it's not always easy, and it requires the self-sacrifice that Jesus speaks of laying down our life for our friends, of doing unto others what we would hope that they would do unto us, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and soul and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Wade into the seas of humankind and let the love of God and the experience of life baptize us. It is a great adventure. It is perhaps the greatest adventure of all time. And we can enter into it with a sense of curiosity and a sense of awe and a sense of hope and trust. There's another great line from other literature that says, either God is everything or God is nothing. What is our choice to be? And usually we find ourselves somewhere on that spectrum, depending on what's going on in our life at any given time. It is when God is everything that we can trust ourselves to be immersed, to be baptized in the seas of humanity, to be a full part of life. Because life begins at the end of our comfort zone. And we hate that, but it's so true. It's the paradox of entering into life fully and completely, of making that decision that I would rather be hurt, and I would rather have to readjust than to never be touched at all and to remain lonely and isolated and fearful. But the decision is ours. And the basis of that decision can be on our decision as to whether God is everything or God is nothing. And if God is everything, then what we can learn to do is float. Just float. When I was a kid, my sister taught me how to swim, and we were in the swimming pool, and she made me lie on my back and just trust her to help me learn what it felt like to float. I had to learn to trust that she wasn't going to let me fall, that she wasn't going to let me drown, that she was going to hold me. And then when we get into the ocean, as some of us have had the opportunity to do, and we get right out on that breaker line and we just get on our back, and we learn that if we just lay on our back and we float, the waves will lift us up and they'll put us down, and they'll lift us up and they'll put us down, and we're carried. So just float. Just float. May we all allow ourselves to be immersed in the baptism of the seas of humankind, learn what it means to love, learn what it means to discover that in fact God is everything. Have a wonderful week, everyone.